Things have been going downhill for the Phoenix Suns this season, and it hasn't looked any brighter in their following recent performances. And with that, questions have arisen about this team's direction after a rocky trade deadline. And new eyes have set on the superstar in Devin Booker as being the player rumored in these new reports. But what will James Jones and Matt Ishbia do following with what's even more increasing reports? We'll be diving in and getting into all of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I am Bruce Velez, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic, showing your love and support on the channel, which has been super, super appreciative over these last couple of weeks. We do hope that you guys are excited and still enjoying the content that we are posting on the channel here. And if you are, let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section on your thoughts on this topic, and to come by on the stream on Thursdays. We go live every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. But without further ado, guys, let's dive in and let's get into this video at hand today. Make sure to grab that snack. And this is interesting for the Phoenix Suns, as like I mentioned, it has been not the greatest season for the Phoenix Suns, and following yet another loss, one that they desperately needed versus the Memphis Grizzlies, it just hasn't been any brighter for this team in some close contests. And with the season kind of falling on its strings and potentially withering away with this team, there have been some new reports and new question marks revolving around the direction of this Phoenix Suns squad and what they ultimately will do. And we saw a report come out from NBA Central, courtesy of Dwayne Rankin of the the Arizona Republic, and we saw that the Phoenix Suns could receive multiple first-round picks, saying 4 first-round picks, amongst a rising star and a potential trade for Devin Booker. The sources informed the Republic that the Suns could potentially get this high of a package for the rising star in his third or fourth year on that contract. And or potentially get a third or 4 year starter. But we do see from John Gambadaro, the Suns, main analyst and insider for the Suns team, saying that yes, this is true. The offers for Devin Booker are out there that are reported. But like he said 2 weeks ago, and like many Suns fans like us know, Devin Booker has not indicated that he would like a trade and that he'll be staying in Phoenix. If we want to look at Booker's contract, we can see he is at 28 years of age. And a lot of people want to say that that's an older NBA star, but we see players like LeBron James, Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, Kevin Durant doing things all 35 plus, and I could see a player like Devin Booker still excelling and ascending for the next, 4 to 5 seasons on a top tier team. So I do believe that in this contract, Devin Booker is going to be worth that $50 to $60 million that he is getting paid, and could be a helpful contributor for a team if the Suns decide not to go in that direction, maybe in the latter half of his contract. But at this very moment, he still wants to stay with the Suns, and the Suns still want to remain with him, regardless of what they want to do with this Kevin Durant situation, which, brings around that whole retool, reshuffle, all that jazz. But the one good thing, key thing here to know is that the Suns and Devin Booker still want to remain with each other. And that's the thing with these reports, is that everyone can kind of talk about Devin Booker trades, and you're going to see the more and more of the discussion coming out in the next couple months throughout the season, throughout the playoffs, and all that stuff, because they're going to want some sort of talking point, some sort of griping point to discuss about this Phoenix Suns team. But deep down, we all know that regardless of what this team does, to try to get into the first apron, as that's their goal with Matt Ishbia. That's why they traded Yusuf Nurkic for Micic and Martin, hopefully looking to potentially waive those guys, drop below that first apron, and then kind of look and assess their evaluation. Do they trade Kevin Durant on his 1 year deal? Do they look to move off Bradley Beal and keep Booker and Durant? Do they look to move both of them? That's going to be kind of the discussion towards the offseason. But at this moment, like I mentioned, Booker is still going to be remaining a Sun, and that's kind of neat to know. Obviously Booker wants to live that Kobe Bryant-esque legacy where he stays with the one franchise his whole time. That's his, favorite player in the NBA, and I really like that from a player like Devin Booker, obviously coming from a small area, then going to a Phoenix Suns team, a small market team, a little bit bigger market now with the stars that it's gone in recent years, but notoriously known for being a little bit of a smaller market team, finally getting that respect from their franchise leader and franchise player, and seeing that he still wants to stay makes a lot of Suns fans happy. But with looking at this record here, obviously sitting at 11th in the Western Conference and stuff like that, that is not great for the Phoenix Suns to maybe want to convince a winning player like Devin Booker to want to stay. But I do believe that this Suns team, like I mentioned, and Devin Booker can still compete and still win if they put the right tools around these players. And that's why I don't believe that they should try to trade or even entertain a package for Devin Booker for 4 first-round picks. You could put the argument that the Suns should potentially go into that reset, go into that rebuild, trade both of these guys. But then you're just going to have Bradley Beal with a bunch of young guys. And yes, it would be some sort of direction for the Suns to pick, as it would be a little bit of a youth rebuild. But then it would not be fun. The Suns would not be competitive. They'd be towards the bottom half in a strong Western Conference. And as we all know, it took a long time for this Phoenix Suns team to kind of get to these promised lands post that Steve Nash era. It took almost a decade, a little bit over, to really get over that hump with missed draft picks, not spending money in free agency, getting bad contracts, and etc. And the Suns desperately don't want to be in that situation now. And with an owner that is willing to pay and kind of shell that money, this is the perfect opportunity to do it with a top tier player in Kevin Durant alongside Devin Booker. So, like I mentioned, I don't think the Phoenix Suns should entertain this. I'm glad the front office is making this decision as well, and kind of going through with it, knowing that this is what they want to do. And I think that ultimately this is the best thing. I want to know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Like I said, how you guys ultimately feel about this Phoenix Suns team, as it hasn't been the greatest team this season. It has been a little bit of a disaster, not what the fans expected, including myself. Even though they had a better roster, we're supposed to have a better coach. We all thought the outlook, the potential for this team was going to be able to hit that mark, and we've seen them be able to rise to that potential offensively, but defensively, due to the fact of them not having the right rotations. Mike Budenholzer, the Suns have struggled defensively and have really, really been hindered on that side of the ball with not playing key guys like Ryan Dunn, having guys like Josh Okogie traded, having a guy like Cody Martin being injured. All three of those things have really limited this Suns' potential in the Western Conference. Not only to mention the rotations and the players that they can play on this team. There are a lot of guys that are on this team that don't get a lot of value player, do get some run here and there, and do look good in some games, and then get absolutely shelved, like a guy like Bol Bol or Collin Gillespie after a good performance. So there's a lot of question marks revolving around this team. Hopefully we'll have some answers going closer and closer to the playoffs, regardless if it's them, pushing for the playoffs or deciding to kind of fade out and go and try to figure out how they're going to be able to get a draft pick to be able to really rescue this off season. But that's what we're going to be breaking down on this Suns episode here, where we kind of dove in and went over all that Devin Booker news. Like I said, teams are interested. They are looking to kind of get 4 years. They're looking to give up 4 first-round picks, potentially some young talent for a player like Devin Booker, who's definitely worth that value and should be at that respected value, regardless of how you feel of him as a Phoenix Sun or outside as a Phoenix Sun, or if you're not a Phoenix Suns fan. But ultimately, I do believe that the Suns should keep him and should, honor and respect their franchise player, and putting the right team around him, as he's given them his best. They should definitely give them theirs. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, how you guys ultimately feel, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hope to catch you guys in the next one and in the stream. Have a great rest of your day. Go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.